Hey folks, Sheila here from Design Files. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about setting up retainers for your projects so that you can ensure that you're covered for every hour that you work and for every product that you order on behalf of your client. The last thing you want is to be on the hook for those items. And you also want to make sure that your client never ghosts you for the hours that you've put in. And setting up retainers is one of the best ways to avoid those situations from happening. So here's how it works. You basically set up the retainers per project. So if I click into any of my projects, it's going to take me into the project overview and I'm going to see all of the project navigation across the top right here. Now, when I'm setting up retainers, I'm going to go into the invoice tab. All right. So if I go into invoices, you'll see that that's actually broken down into invoices and retainers. So I'm going to click into the retainer option right here, and you can see that I don't have any for this project right now. So I'm going to go ahead and create my first retainer. Now, when you're creating your retainers, you can create it as just like a project retainer. You could do a specific retainer for products or one for services. You can send out as many retainers as you want throughout the project as well. And then for each one that you collect money on, you can basically apply those payments towards your future invoices. And we're going to cover all of that in this video. So for now, let's just say that I'm going to set up a product retainer. So this is the money that I'm going to be setting aside for all of the orders that I am going to place on behalf of my client. Now you can see here I've got my issue date, my due date, so you can set whatever you want for your due date, and you also have your client and their contact details added in as well. Down here, this is where you're going to add a manual line item. And again, this is just a product retainer. So I'm actually going to set up this line item and just call it product retainer. And let's say that we're going to collect 10,000 upfront from the client. Okay, so we'll just put in 10,000 here. Now, I'm not applying taxes to this, right? And the reason for that is that this is money where I am collecting this upfront from my client. I'm going to be applying that retainer payment towards an invoice throughout the project. And when I send my invoices to my client, that's when I'll be applying the tax to it. All right? So you're just adding the total amount here. Down here, you can add in any additional notes if you would like, or if you've got some preset memos that you like to include for all your retainers that just kind of break down exactly what this retainer is going to be for, you can go ahead and you can add it here. And then below that, you're going to see that you can also choose to accept credit card payments, ACH payments, or if you just want to send this retainer out to your client, you can allow them to also pay by check or whatever it is, and then you can record the payment manually. So let's say that we're going to send this one off to the client. And if you do want to preview it just to see what it looks like before you send it out, you can always hit save and preview. And then you're going to see what it looks like. And if you've added in your logo and you've added in your brand colors, all of this will be branded to your business. And you can see right here, your client can pay with credit card. And if I had set up the option to also pay by ACH, then my client would also be able to have that option and they can choose which direction they want to go in. Now, I'm going to go ahead and send this out to the client here. So we'll just send this retainer to the client. You can see my client's email address has been pulled in. I've got my subject line and my message, which you can customize, and you can go ahead and you can send that retainer out. Now, let's say that my client has in fact paid for it, and maybe they did the credit card payment, and if they did, it would just automatically show as paid when they make that payment. But if they didn't, and maybe they sent you a check or something like that, you can always go into this menu right here. You can record a payment manually, and this is where you would just indicate the method that they paid you. So let's say they did check, and we're going to say they covered the full amount here. You can add the due date that they paid on and record that payment. Now, once you actually have this retainer paid, what you can actually do then is you can start sending out invoices for your project, and you can apply the retainer payment towards those invoices. So if I create a brand new invoice, and let's go ahead and we're just going to add some products to this. So we'll just select a few for now. We'll add these in. You can see all the product information has been pulled in, and it's including my markup and the quantity that I need, and I've got all those details added. Now down here, if I wanted to, I could always just send this invoice out to my client. And again, I could accept credit card payments or ACH payments. Or if I have set up my retainer, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to see this new option here that says record a payment. So if you're going to be the one who's recording the payment, you would click into here, and then you're going to see that it's got the payment method. So you're going to come down to where it says your retainer. It's going to show you the retainer that you've just set up. And then you can then basically pull the payment for this invoice from that retainer amount. So if I'm looking behind here to see what that total amount was, we'll just put that in 2,369 and 74. And I could set the date that I'm adding this payment or collecting this payment on. And then we're going to record this payment. Now, when I do that, basically this invoice is now going to show as paid. So if I send this out to my client, they're just going to see that this invoice is now marked as paid, and they're going to see a little indicator on the actual invoice indicating that it came from the retainer. So let's go ahead, we're going to preview and save this again. And you can see the payment that's showing now for my client, and it's showing that it actually came from the retainer. So you can go ahead and you can just send the invoice off to your client just so they have that record of this paid invoice. And then once you've done that, when you come back into your project, you are going to then see, if I go over to retainers over here, you can see the total amount that we started with, and this is what's left available. So we know that the money has been pulled from the actual retainer. This is the amount that I still have active that I can still use towards future invoices. And as this amount gets lower, I might want to go ahead and send out a new retainer to my client to collect another lump sum upfront that I can start applying to any future invoices for this project. And by setting my projects up like this, I'm making sure that I'm always covered and always protected, and I'm not actually putting in loads of hours into a project that I haven't been paid for, and I'm also not taking on the responsibility of covering the cost of products without first collecting that money from my client as well. So I'm never going to be left on the hook for these payments. So if you haven't set up retainers within your design files projects, definitely look into this. It's a smart way to run your business. It means you're always protected up front. It keeps the cash flow working within your business. And of course, all of your retainers and your invoices and your purchase orders, they can all sync over to QuickBooks as well if you go ahead and set up your QuickBooks sync in your account settings. And that way you're always able to keep track of all of your bookkeeping needs and just make the whole process a lot easier. If you do have any questions at all about retainers, how to set them up, how to send them, how to collect payments, and how to apply those payments to future invoices, then just reach out to us on the live chat. We are always happy to help. Thanks for watching.